Yes.
Would you like a book? I have books. Is that the guy again?
I gave over your Torahs last night. Everybody was very impressed. And the
It's not my
family.
Torah, it's Reb Shlomo. Yeah.
Right, but you gave it
But
to
you're
me,
going to, yeah.
and I gave it to them.
What page are we on?
Okay, so today's the 5th day of Channukah. There you go. We have a number of doormen here.
But your son is the best one.
So, come have a seat. So there's an amazing story. I don't remember the details exactly, but basically the story was told by a Rabbi Greenbaum, a Satmar Chassid, and he was like 14 years old. He was an orphan, and his uncle was Rabbi Menachem Zemba. Anyway, in 1928, the Lubavitcher Rebbe got married in Warsaw, the last Rebbe. And his uncle took him to the wedding. And while he was there, he met the Friedricher Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, and the Friedricher Rebbe said, "So have you said hello to my son-in-law?" So he said, "No, not yet," but he says, go say hello to him. And so he goes and meets the Reb Menachem Mendel, who was the last Rebbe, and he says to him, to this young boy, he says, "Do you know what's special? Why, particularly among Hasidim, the 5th candle of Channukah is like really special? Do you know why?" So he said, "No." So you know that there's an argument between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel about how to light the menorah. According to Beit Shammai, you start with 8 on the first day, and you go down to 7 and 6 and so on. And according to Hillel, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's on the 5th day of Channukah that you see the light of Hillel's system shining more than, because right, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, Beit Shammai is lighting more candles than Hillel. It's on day 5 that Hillel is lighting more candles than Shammai. But he says more than that, is that every day of Channukah, except for the 5th night, can possibly come out on Shabbos. In other words, it just works out that the way the calendar is that the 5th night of Channukah never comes on Shabbos, which means that the 5th night of Channukah never has the light of Shabbos joining it. Okay, which means that the power of the 5th candle is such that it can illuminate more darkness than any of the other candles. In other words, any of the other candles basically, to a certain degree, so to speak, rely on the fact that they also have some Shabbos light. But the fifth candle doesn't rely on any Shabbos light because it never comes on Shabbos. So the fifth candle has the potential to illuminate in places that are darker, so dark that the other candles can't illuminate there. That's how the story starts. Anyway, this young man says, 10 years later, like, the war, the Second World War was beginning. He lost his family and somehow he survived. And after the war, an uncle brought him over to the States. He ended up living in Toronto, by the way, this is Robert Greenbaum, but at this point he came over to the States, and his uncle thought it would be a good idea to take him to see the Lubavitcher Rebbe, to get some chizuk, to get some strengthening, and after just having survived the war. So he came to see the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and this is like 20 years later, and the Lubavitcher Rebbe was encouraging him, like, he should get married, and then he says to him, by the way, have you seen my son-in-law? He says, I was at the wedding. So he says, well, go down and say hello to him. The Rebbe's office was downstairs in 770. So he goes down to see the Rebbe, and the Rebbe says to him, this is all taking place during Channukah time, 1928, now 1948. The Rebbe says to him, so do you know why the fifth candle of Channukah is so special? And he tells him the exact same Dvar Torah, the exact same teaching as he told him back in 1928. Okay, good. And he got married, and family, he was living in Toronto. So 20 years later, is it 20 years later, approximately, yeah, whatever. One of his children gets engaged, and he says to his son, he says, even though we're not Lubavitcher Hasidim, the Lubavitcher Rebbe's have been a big part of my life and getting it started again and built up again and so on. And you were born with a blessing from the Rebbe. So I want to take you you're a chosn now, I want to take you there for a blessing. So they go to New York, and what does the Rebbe say to him? You know why the fifth candle of Chanukah is so special? And he tells him the whole teaching again. This is 1968, right? So he's sort of surprised, like every time he tells him the same teaching. 1978 or 1988, this Rebbe Greenbaum is flying, Greenwald actually, I think, is going off to England. So 1 second, so back in 1968, so this was like a year after, or half a year after the Six-Day War. And during the Six-Day War, 1967, the Lubavitcher Rebbe started the whole campaign with tefillin. I don't know if you're aware, but 3 days before the war began, Levi Eshkol, who was the prime minister at the time, got on the radio to try to calm, the citizens down, that they shouldn't be afraid. But the fact is that his voice betrayed that he himself was like really worried and scared. On that day, 3 days before the war, the Lubavitcher Rebbe told all his Hasidim over here, get out of the bomb shelters and go put on tefillin with every soldier.
What year was that?
67.
Uh-huh.
And that he was already foretelling the whole war, all the miracles that were going to happen and everything. And so what happened is that the Jewish world was pretty shocked by this tefillin campaign. because they were going out, like, a Jew would come out of a trefa restaurant. Hey, you're a Jew? Yeah. Okay, let's put on tefillin. Wherever. And so the Satmar Hasidim Satmar Rebbe they were against it. Like, what are you? You're taking something so holy, and you're putting on tefillin with people in the street, and who knows what they've done and what they're going to do in 5 minutes from now. So this Rebbe Greenwald says to the Rebbe, if I may, I'd like to understand a little bit more about why you're doing this campaign, because in the community that I live in, there's a lot of feelings against it. So the Rebbe says, there's a verse that says, don't ignore, don't pretend that you don't know your relatives, that you don't know your own flesh. And he says, if your friends...
Where's it at?
In Tanakh, I just need to remember. I need to look it up. If any of your friends, if one of their children were to leave Yiddishkeit, were to run away, would they say, "Oh well, they're just not religious anymore, goodbye," or would they go and do everything they could to bring them back? Of course, they would do everything they could to bring them back. And he says, as for me, every Jewish man and woman is like my own child. And whatever I need to do to keep them connected, to bring them back, that's what I'm going to do. It's my flesh. "20 years later, Rabbi Greenwald is going to England to marry off one of his grandchildren. So before he leaves, a friend of his, another Satmar Chassid, comes over to him a few hours before he went to the airport. He says, "Listen, keep it quiet, but I need you to do me a big favor. My daughter ran off with a Gentile, and all I know is that she's in England. And since you're going to England, see what you could do." So he goes to England, and he asks around, like, who can help in this situation, and they all tell him the only person that we know that will do anything and everything is the Lubavitcher Shaliach, the emissary. So he makes an appointment with this man, with this rabbi, and he gives him all the details that he possibly could. And the Shaliach says he'll do what he can. They made the wedding took place. He stood there for Sheva Brachos, and he gets a call from the Shaliach, "Come over to my house." This is in the middle of Channukah. He found the girl, and she's sitting there in his house, and she's crying, and she says, "Please take me home." She was ready to go back home. And he looks around, and he sees the Channukah menorah is lit, and it was the fifth Channukah. Okay. 1928, 1948, 1968, right? 1988. Comes back and he goes to see the Lubavitcher Rebbe and tells him the whole story. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe says, "Yeah, my father-in-law had long vision."
Had what?
Had long vision. Okay, so...
The Rabbi Gima must have been a very, very old man by 1988.
How old?
28.
He was 14 in 1928.
246, so he was 78.
Wow. That's pretty good. To go to England.
If the math is correct. Yeah. So we're on page 288, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to review what we've been doing over here because
Yeah. What were we up to?
this is a teaching. We're on 288.
Mhm.
What's the last thing you wrote down?
We did this on Tuesday.
You were talking about the
No,
symbolism.
we didn't finish until 88.
Oh,
You were talking about the power of the lights of Hanukkah and
Yeah.
public lighting, and before that it was like about passion and Yosef and
Okay,
that.
so
And so we're up to symbolism you were talking about.
anyway, so
Lights of Hanukkah.
Can you follow Hebrew text? No,
Not without
I'm reading and saying what you.
And
He translates everything.
I
listen
translate.
to the translation. I can follow if it has vowels, it has
Yeah.
vowels.
Okay,
Oh, sorry.
good. So the what this whole teaching is all about is about stories, dreams, and imagination.
Right.
Were you here for any of it earlier in the week? No. And the first time we encounter dreams in the Torah is Yaakov having a dream, right? And then comes Yosef, he has dreams. And then the winemaker and the baker have dreams. And then in this week's Torah reading, Paro is having dreams, right? So he's giving over a teaching from Rabbi Nachman about where do you get the ability to interpret dreams, right? And it's because of Yosef's ability to interpret the dreams that he ends up becoming the viceroy, right? First he has the dreams about how he's going to be ruling the world, right? Then the winemaker and the baker have their dreams, and thanks to his interpreting their dreams, he gets taken out of prison. And then Paro has his dreams, and Paro has his dreams, and Yosef interprets Paro's dreams, and as a result becomes the viceroy, and he's feeding the whole world because the famine was widespread across the Middle East. So everybody had to come to Egypt to get food. So where does this power to the ability to interpret dreams come from? And Reb Nachman says that basically, if you have achieved to have holy thoughts all the time, if you've achieved having holy thoughts all the time, then you have the ability to interpret dreams. Okay. Now, it's not just the ability to interpret dreams, but the ability to interpret dreams in such a way that something positive comes from it. Because, like Rashi says that we didn't start reading it. Rashi says that Pharaoh had his own wise people who were interpreting the dreams for him, but he didn't like their interpretations because they gave him interpretations like you're going to have 7 daughters and they're going to die and so on. In other words, all their interpretations, they made sense because the fat cows were eaten up by the meager cows. The healthy stalks of wheat were swallowed up by the wind, by the dried out ones. And there was no trace, you couldn't see on the meager cows that they had just had a big steak, they were as meager as they were before. So their interpretations made sense, but Paro didn't want to accept those interpretations because all those interpretations ended up as calamity. That it's the end, right? And Yosef's interpretation, the result, he also said, 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine, right? But it was turned around to the point that Egypt became the breadbasket of the entire Middle East and saved the world from that famine. So Nachman says, if you have holy thoughts all the time, okay, then you have the ability to interpret dreams in such a way. Okay. Now, when do you dream?
Good night.
At night. I used to dream during the day in school, but but otherwise, most people dream at night. Now, what are dreams? What is it? What is this? What's it about? So basically, there are dreams that can put you to sleep, and there are dreams that wake you up. There are stories that put you to sleep. There are stories that wake you up. Now, if you have pure thoughts when you go to sleep, and we actually pray for that before going to sleep, so then your imagination can serve as an appropriate vessel for the dreams. Now, Reb Shlomo said that you need to have good, strong imagination to really believe that God created the world. Okay? What does that mean? That means to say that you can be told, or you can be even intellectually clear to you that, yes, there's a creator who created the world. But it doesn't mean that there's going to be anything different in your life. You might still be the same, whatever, right? Like, you might, somebody could be sitting in a tray-for restaurant on Yom Kippur and eating non-kosher food, and yeah, God created the world, right? So what are you doing here? Oh, well, it's two different things. Like, God created the world, and but that's that, and I'm I. And
people say, I love you, Hashem, but they don't do anything.
Right? Okay. So likewise, so to really believe that Hashem created the world means that it makes a difference in how you're living your life. For that, you need to have good, strong imagination that belief statement is significant, that it actually means something and makes a difference in your life. And to have that, you have to have pure thoughts when you go to sleep, and holy thoughts all day long. Now, what the process of life is such that it's at night that you dream, right? That means to say that the lights of the new day are starting to come down at night, right? Vayihi erev, vayihi boker. First there was evening, and then there was morning, right? The new day is coming down at the time that you're sleeping. The new day is coming down to you. There are new lights coming into the world, and they're coming down to you in your dreams. Now, not everybody remembers their dreams. Do you remember your dreams? No. I usually don't even know if I dreamt. I'm sure that I dreamt.
Depends the beginning of that or the end.
Yeah. It's different for different people. I know people that they have vivid memories, and they have. Who told me the other day that one of our students told me that his mother has boxes full of her notebooks of all the dreams that she's had for the last 30, 40 years. She writes it all down.
Maybe dreams by day.
No. Dreams at night.
Wow.
Some people have these kinds of. Some people are like that. In any case, that's the point is that the lights of the future are being illuminated during the night, and that when you receive a dream, you're receiving some of that light about the future, right? we're now talking about holy dreams. Okay, we're talking about and people who have holy thoughts all day long, they can tune in to what the dream is about, what it's really about. Okay. Now, if you like that, right? So then you realize that it's one thing to have the dream, but it's up to you to manifest it. Right? It's up to you to do something with it. It's not like, oh, okay, so I saw this vision, I had this little revelation in my dream, and so on. That was very nice. It was exciting. But what are you going to do about it? Right? What do you need to manifest it? You need to do. You need to be the one to manifest it. You have to do something with it, right? So if you're mamish, welcome. Pull up a chair. Here, there's another chair here. Is there another book? Is there another book? Oh, there's one over here. There's one over here. Thank you. Welcome. So now, what is it? What is the whole thing about holy thoughts? It is like this. It's about tuning in to God's dream. Okay. In other words, think about it. When God created the world, before He created the world, He, so to speak, we're talking human language, okay? So we're not pretending to talk God's language, right? But we're talking like human beings. But God had a dream of the world, of a world that's going to be beautiful, a world that God's presence would end up would be revealed in the world, right? And gave us the job to make this a dwelling place for Hashem, to make this a dwelling place for Hashem, for God, right? God dreamt about you too, each one of us, and had a dream about, oh, one day Ben and his mother are going to be in Yerushalayim, okay? And how beautiful that's going to be, right? Okay. Hashem had a dreamt about every one of us, and the idea is to try to tune into, okay, this is the situation I'm in right now. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. But how did Hashem want it to? What does Hashem want it to look like? What does Hashem want it to feel like? What does Hashem want it to what can I do now to manifest Hashem's dream at this moment? Okay. So that's what this teaching is a little bit about. So we're going to go to page 288. We'll start at the second paragraph. Yeshnam anashim shemedamyanim et metziyut Hashem b'li hasipur. There are people who imagine the existence of God, but without a story. Aval mevakshei emet, but those who are seeking the truth, medamyanim et Hashem b'madriga shel sipur. They imagine God on the level of a story, shel chalom. They imagine God on the level of a dream. In other words, they what is a story? A story, you're a teacher. A story has a beginning, it has a middle, it has an end, right? In other words, when you see the existence of God in terms of a story, in terms of a dream, you realize that right now, at this moment, is not the end. This is not the end of the story, right? And you realize that it's all a long story that will come to its ultimate end, will come to the ultimate redemption and so on. But we're in the story.
It's a means to the
It's an end to the way it is now. We're going to get there, right? And I have a role in helping that manifest. So, but if you just visualize God, God is the creator, and you don't see the story, you don't see it in terms of the story, you're not really going to do anything. Okay? ישנם חלומות מתים בחלומות חיים. There are dead dreams and live dreams. חלומות חיים הם חלומות שאני מאמין בהם. Live dreams are dreams that I believe in. החלומות שבהם אינני מאמין עוד הם חלומות מתים. The dreams that I don't believe in anymore, they're dead. מדוע חלומותיהם של חלק מהאנשים מרדימים את כל העולם? Why is it that some people's dreams just put you to sleep? Put the whole world to sleep? כי הם עצמם אינם מאמינים בחלומות שלהם, because they themselves don't believe in those dreams. ולכן החלומות שלהם הם חלומות מתים, and therefore their dreams are dead dreams. רבי נחמן אומר עוד דבר עמוק על חלומות. רבי נחמן says another very deep thing about dreams. כשאני ישן, when I'm sleeping, ונשמתי עולה לשמיים, and my soul goes up to heaven. אני יכול לקבל דברים שלא הייתי יכול לקבל בשעה שאני ער. I'm able to receive things that I was not able to receive while awake. כל מה שהשם מוריד לעולם הוא במדרגה של חלום. Everything that God is bringing down to the world is coming down on the level of a dream. חלום שטרם התגשם, a dream that has not yet manifested. בתחילה, at first, אני משיג את הדברים רק במדרגה של חלום. In other words, whatever I'm grasping and comprehending is really starting out as a dream. אבל אז ההגשמה שלו תלויה בי. But the manifestation of that dream is dependent on me. כדי להכיל את האור הזה שיורד משמיים, in order to be able to contain this light that's coming down from heaven, צריך שיהיה כלי כאן בעולם. There needs to be a vessel to receive it. Yeah, we did yes the other day. הכלי הזה הוא אני. I am that vessel. צורת הכלי תקבע איך ייראה האור. The form of the vessel is going to determine what the light, how the light will be showing up. Right? המדרגה שבה אני נמצא, the level that I'm at, מעצבת את החלום, puts a design on the dream. ודרכו להפוך למציאות. The level that I'm at determines how the light is showing up, right? And so I have to understand, right? And this is a concept that shows up in science also, right? When you're measuring something, you got to make sure that your measuring stick is an accurate one, right? If your measuring stick is not accurate, let's say, you're selling something by the meter. If it's bigger than, if your measuring stick is more than a meter, you're going to be losing money. If you're less than a meter, you're cheating the customer, right? Now, the measuring stick has to be accurate. So you're the vessel receiving what's coming down in the dream, right? So understand that your perception, in other words, your status, your ability to perceive things is very much a part of what you're seeing. In other words, two people could be seeing the same thing, but they're both seeing different things, right? So the level that I'm at it plays a role in how I'm going to be interpreting the dream, right? And how I'm going to manifest it into reality. So hakli lachalamot sheli hu hamachshava sheli. The vessel for my dreams is my thoughts, my mind, my thoughts. Hakol talui b'kedushat hamachshava. It all depends on the holiness of your thinking. Im hamachshavot sheli kedoshot. If my thoughts are holy, hachalamot sheli ne'esim kelim le'or hagadol hazeh. So then my dreams become vessels for this great light that is coming down. But if during the day I have bad thoughts, so then when the light is coming down at night from heaven, the light gets corrupted and can turn into something negative. And it becomes a bad dream. The problem is not with the dream. The problem is with me. Because I'm not the way I should be. Because I'm full of evil and full of hatred. So therefore, the light that's coming down in the dream gets misinterpreted, and it does not bring the proper results that are intended. Right? So Paro's advisors, they're evil people, and their interpretation of the dream is that everything is going to go kaput, everything is going to be destroyed, everything is going to end, and there won't be any trace of the good, right? But Yosef is a tzaddik, and he's always having holy thoughts, and he sees the dream as being part of the story, of God's dream, right? And so he sees that they're leaving, whoever it was. They just went away. Oh, okay, I guess they. Come on in. Right. What's your name? Mendel. Sounds like a Satmar name, not Labama. Mendel what? Yeah, he's looking with me. He's looking with me.
It's too small.
But you have your glasses. Why did you take them off?
I take off my glasses so I can read better.
Mendel what?
Schneider.
From where?
Originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. Are you at Mayonnaise also?
No.
No.
He's here now.
So the Yosef is a tzaddik. So he hears Paro's dream, right? And he perceives that Hashem is informing him of what's happening, and that he realizes that it's up to us to make it into something positive, right? To do something with that information and make it into something positive, right?
So in order to be an Or Lagoyim,
You better be holy.
or to think holy thoughts.
Yep.
Because the way you think is the way you would
The way
behave. You would behave probably.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So
Okay,
why
so
didn't
we're at the last paragraph. What?
Why didn't I know this 40 years ago?
Maybe you did.
Not to reach a certain.
חלומותיו של יוסף עוררו את העולם כולו, the last paragraph on 288. Yosef's dreams,
Thank you.
Yosef's dreams woke up the entire world מפני שהוא האמין בהם, because he believed in them. Right? Every one of us, if you think back to your childhood, every one of us has had dreams of doing something really great and important in the world. Right? Unfortunately, for many of us, those dreams were destroyed by the education system we were in, or the. Are you a teacher or something?
I'm a teacher
Yeah. I know.
in a day school.
Right? Well, I'm
Okay.
sure that you're not killing the kids' dreams.
Well, then she
I
knows
hope
more,
not.
but then she understands this completely.
Okay,
I'm
and
a Jewish studies teacher.
No, but
And
everybody says it like
Yeah,
Monday.
it's so important to not to destroy our children's dreams.
Right. Or our own.
Okay, or your own for sure. Also not, but for us, for our own, like we've got to go back and fix what's already been destroyed, right?
Mhm.
So Yosef believed in his dreams. Now we're told always, it was just a dream. Are you kidding? You're a kid. This is just a dream. You'll never be anything great.
Mm.
Right? Well, what do you mean it's just a dream? A dream is somewhat prophetic, right? It's 1/60th of prophecy is considered, the Talmud says. So if you have a dream and you believe in it, you're going to do something with it, right? But if you have a dream and you're told not to believe in it, then you're not going to do it. So דעו לכם, so you should know this, אמונה בהשם הוא תמיד במדרגה של חלום. Belief in God is always on the level of a dream. See, for example, you ask people, do you believe that Mashiach is going to come? Right? As Jews, we all sing, Ani Mamin, I believe with perfect faith in the coming of Mashiach and so on. Well, is it your dream, or do you just believe that one day Mashiach is going to come? Are you dreaming about it?
I don't go to sleep dreaming about the Mashiach. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean, in other words, are you...
Question if it comes, subconsciously.
Okay, but true, but the point is that, unfortunately, without judging anybody, very often, the idea of Mashiach is something that, yes, we believe in it, right? But is it your dream? Are you working to manifest it, to bring it about? Are you doing something to make it happen sooner, right? So if it's on the level of a dream, right, then you say, yeah, this is you wake up excited, full of life energy. You want to do something. You want to go and do something with it, right? לא רואים את האמונה. You don't see what you believe in. חולמים אותה. You dream it. והאמונה הזו עשויה להיות החלום המעורר ביותר בעולם. And this faith that you dream is meant to be the dream, the most awakening dream in the world. כשאני חולם שהשם אחד, when I dream that God is one, אני מתעורר לגמרי. I become completely awake. I wake up fully. והחלום הזה, and this dream שהשם הוא אחד, עתיד לעורר בסופו של דבר את העולם כולו. And this dream of the oneness of God will ultimately wake up the whole world. Right? What's the last sentence that we say in Aleinu every day, 3 times a day? Right? Hashem למלך על כל, השם אחד, right? מלך על כל הארץ, right? The God will be king over the universe, and ביום ההוא יהיה השם אחד ושמו אחד. Hashem will be one, right? My friend in Montreal, Ronnie Fine, who has a Chabad house, so, and Kol HaKavod to him, you know, he made a Chabad house for simple factory worker type of people, you know, simple Jews. And none of the people there that in his that come to him are like, you know, like the glamour type of people, you know. None of them are
Like us.
particularly wealthy or whatever it is, right? They're simple Yidden. Like, you know, you ask them, what do you do? Oh, I'm working the shipping room. What do you do? Like, you know, like I drive a truck and things like that, right? But then when they finish davening at Aleinu, they all gather around the bima, and when they say echad, you know, they do like a good echad, and it goes on for like almost a minute, like with that one echad, and they're all like, you know, like in like this big group hug, you know.
Oh, nice.
And it's mamish, like you feel like, you know, like you're in the Baal Shem Tov's synagogue or something like that. It's like really, right? Versus what happens in many congregations is that when it comes to Aleinu, there's a big elevator, like, you know, you don't even say all the words, right? And you're already on your way out, right? So in other words, so is it your dream or is it not your dream? Is echad your dream or is it not your dream? Right? So it's Hashem's dream, right? So then, and it's coming down at night, every night, right? So why is it that I'm not connecting with it as best as I should? Problem is what are my thoughts like during the day? Are they holy thoughts or are they whatever Rishigas is you know, like, or am I just imagining sitting in a Korean nail shop, you know, and having my nails done, or you know, in Vancouver, every 50 feet there's either a nail shop or a pet shop.
I think that the people in the world have an effect on it because they're very negative all the time.
Well,
like,
that's the whole thing.
They're like, and they
well,
have
the world by
they'll say, yeah, it's always
No,
like,
no,
you're not gonna get that.
right,
But they're always, you know.
but our job is to disregard that and to have a live dream. You understand?
Right. No, I do.
And the fact of the matter is that the way the world is designed, it's a world of entropy. Things break down, right? And so what's your dream? That it's all going to end up with the 7 lean cows eating the fat cows and it's going to be over? Or is your dream that people are going to see that there's really a God in the world? You know, and that everything in the world is going to be radiating Hashem's light.
I'm uncertain about this word dream. When I hear the dream thing, I think of being in bed at night and closing my eyes.
And watching a movie.
Yeah, but that's not what he said in the past.
Right.
No, I turn off the lights and
I mean in your mind, like, you know, seeing it. Yeah.
So I have to have a planned dream.
No.
Is that what it is?
No. What you need to do is you need to daven in Kriya Shema Lamita that my thoughts should be pure and holy, so that I don't confuse the message that is going to be coming down to me.
You say,
that I
you
don't-
say those words here.
Those words are there in the Hamapul blessing. That's one of the meanings of those words. Look at it carefully and
I've
think.
said it so often.
I know, but I'm just saying, but take out the siddur and don't just say it by heart. Look at it, right, and think about what those words mean. And there was a chassid that asked the Alter Rebbe. He said he wanted to have Hasidic chalomis, Hasidic dreams, right? And so the Alter Rebbe said to him, "You learn a mimer, you learn a Hasidic discourse 60 times, and like know it really well and meditate on it." I don't know, but that's what he told him. And you'll meditate on it, and you will dream Hasidus. You will dream Hasidic lessons. And one night there was a fire in his house, and they had to wake him up to get him out, and which they did. And he told his family, "You interrupted such a beautiful lesson in Hasidut." Okay. His name was Reb Avram Tiktser, and it's amazing. Can you check the door?
Somebody's coming down the stairs.
No.
You know, though.
Someone's there.
Yeah, but it's also
She's
plus,
inside already. It's Judy.
from the learning that we were discussing, it's also plus the imagination. Like, it doesn't have to be a dream. You could
No,
you
right.
can imagine this good thing
Well,
that
no,
you want to
it-
have happen for good
Yeah,
reason.
you have to.
Not that
You
they
have
don't
to have it.
understand.
You
No,
have to
no,
have
or
it.
you may not have a
You have
memory
to
of
have a
the
strong imagination
imagination,
of
right?
what it means that God is one. In other words, the saying "I believe that God is one" or "I believe that God created the world," very nice, right? But if you don't have the imagination of the oneness of Hashem, and that everything that's happening is part of that one dream of God, and that we have a role in it, and we have something to achieve in it, then it's just going to be information,
Mhm.
right? Information, good. Do you have a Rolls Royce? Okay, I don't really care.
But you know what they'll say, the
You know,
nature.
do you have a
nature
Rolls Royce?
No, that
The
is-
correct,
It's a car.
the correct response to that question
Auto.
is not yet.
It's a big,
That's what he said.
very fancy car.
The good answer.
There's a guy on Yaffa, by the way. There's a little hotel there near the shul. He parks his Rolls Royce on the street there. Have you seen it?
Yeah, there's all the model cars.
I know.
Yeah. But okay, so very nice, Mazel Tov. It's a bar mitzvah. It's this, it's that, and so on. And
How do you know when you're
I had a student once that, and again, I'm not saying this in a judgmental way, but he was like really excited about his bar mitzvah, and he had a nice bar mitzvah Shabbos morning. But as soon as the services were over, the grandfather took the whole family straight to a Trafer restaurant to tell them, you're not going to take this Judaism seriously. And again, I'm saying without being judgmental, like, a Holocaust survivor and this and that and so on, and not,
Right.
God forbid, making any judgments. You understand? But this is the world that we live in. Is that there's this darkness that is always telling us, yeah, Mashiach. If you're crazy, you believe in Mashiach type of thing. Or yeah, we believe in it, but who knows ever when? Like, it's not relevant right this minute. Is it relevant this minute or not? If you have holy thoughts and you have good imagination, which is dependent on holy thoughts, right? Then yeah, Mashiach is relevant this instant, not just because I'm tired of the world, but because I want to see the manifestation of Hashem's dream. I want to see the full manifestation of it. I want to do something to bring it closer.
how can you tell when you're off the dream or replace the dream with something else.
You feel it automatically.
Missing your
Well,
dream.
are you awake, or
Missing your path.
is it a dream that's waking you up, or is it a dream that's just let's go back to sleep?
That's the question.
That's the telltale question.
If you have a dream that keeps you up, you can't go back to sleep.
Baruch Hashem.
That means I'll come to the class and fall asleep.
Thank God you have this class to sleep in.
Right. No,
Can't win an argument with you, can I?
that's fine.
You could, but I won't now. I won't let you. No. Yeah. His name is also Mendel.
My name is Menachem Mendel. What did you say?
No, just. His name is Michal. His name is Michal. But how come your name isn't Mendel?
Because I have a younger brother whose name is
Ah.
Mendel. Because my Zeta was Mendel,
Oh, really?
Menachem Mendel,
Uh,
and when I was born, he was still alive.
uh-huh.
If you go to Crown Heights and you scream
Every
Mendy,
day,
you
the
get a
whole world's
stampede.
coming,
100 of them.
You have a thousand's gonna
yeah.
it's a stampede, you know. Scream Mendy
Are we still on?
You see,
or Mushki.
when you talk, you should pepper your conversation with mamish. Because mamish means
Menachem Mendel
Menachem.
Schneerson.
Or Schneider, which is
Oh,
Schneider, take one.
He's Johnny on the spot, or Mendel on the spot.
Okay, so the point is of the whole thing. The point of the whole thing is that things. If you look at the title of the next page, and that's just look at the title. Hagalgal mitapech berega echad. The wheel can change in one instant, right? In other words, Yosef is there. They just pulled him out of the jail. They just gave him a haircut, right? And in 1 minute, he becomes viceroy. Right? You don't have to walk around the rest of your life thinking that I'm a slave. You don't have to walk around the rest of your life thinking that I'm a victim. You don't have to walk around the rest of your life thinking that this happened to me and that happened to me and so on. And my teacher took away my snack and so on. Whatever it is, it can change like that. Now, it's not easy. I mean, it's easier said than done, right? But your consciousness can change. You know, in other words, like Reb Shlomo said, what you could accomplish in one Shabbos is way more than you might accomplish in 20 years of therapy. Okay, but we got to get ourselves in the mindset to be able to do that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the thing is like this. You know, back in San Francisco, when he had the House of Love and Prayer, so there was this guy that came to him and he says, you say that Shabbos is like the drug of the Jewish people. He says, I'm willing to come and try your drug if you promise me that you'll come and try my drugs. So Shlomo said, okay. So he came for Shabbos. Shabbos was over. The guy had a really great time. He says, okay, now, Rabbi, you promised me, now you come to my place. So Shlomo goes, and there are people like just lying on the ground, passed out and everything. Shlomo says, listen, I know I made a promise, but tell me, is what you want me to do here, is it going to take you to the same place that Shabbos took you? And he said, no, forget it.
What was it? What was that place?
It's
It
a
was his
drug
pad. It was his
pad.
apartment.
Yeah.
You want the address?
It's all good.
And it's free.
Okay. But you understand that it's where is it taking you? Like, you know, like so the thing about the light of Channukah, I was learning with someone this morning. What's special about the light of Channukah is that it's a light from the future. Okay? Reb Nachman says that God gave us the ability to forget and the ability to remember. Forgetting was given to us to forget the past, And remembering was given to us to remember the future. Okay. Not such a simple statement. Okay? Because there are things from the past that you have to remember. But when you're dealing with yourself or you're dealing with another person or whatever that you're trying to help, what we need a memory of the future. We need a memory of that light of the future. That all ganuz, that hidden light that God hid for the future, that light is available in the Channukah candles. Okay.
It's not called memory.
Mm-hmm.
You can say it's a memory.
Ano zamin lemehevi. In other words, yes, the idea of memory is, usually we use the word memory only in relation to things that already happened, right? But in terms of what we're talking about over here with your imagination, remember we have
Remember what's all about.
we have a goal. We're going somewhere. We have a purpose. Remember that. Okay. So, like if somebody used to end up always, they say, bless me and I bless you back. That we should live with at least a little bit of what we just learned.
Okay. When we're offline, I have something to say. When you're off.
So she wants me to censor. No, talk now, and then I'll decide if I do censor or not.
Okay. Go off?
It's cold.
Okay, so